So hey there, this is Riz and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, you can call me Riz or Rizha. Every once in a while, I upload booktube videos, faith-based content videos, and random things. So for this week's video or this week's content, I'm gonna be talking about SueMonkKidd's Secret Life of Bees. So this copy of the book is definitely a worth find dahil it is for only 35 pesos. Alright? And napansin ko with the other copies sa book sale, by the way, sa book sale ko ito nabili. Some copies are worth 155 pesos, 135 pesos, and itong copy na to lang ang worth 35 pesos. Hindi ko alam kung typo lang sa kanilang price or baka din siguro hindi na as crisp yung spine niya and may tannings na din yung page niya. So I knew right away that it would be a nice novel to read kasi may mga nababasa na rin akong reviews o napapanood na mga book reviews sa YouTube about it. And also, by the time when I started reading this, I took a picture of it and posted it on the gram, and a number of people said na maganda yung librong ito. And one of my friends or classmates back in the university, Guilford, also said na may movie adaptation din pala yung novel na to. So I thought that maybe it's good enough, no, to have like a movie adaptation. So it wasn't difficult to start this novel for me, but it wasn't that easy to finish too. Kasi it took me 14 days to finish this. Like, estimatedly 14 days to finish this. I originally intended to read this for like 7 days, just like how I read other novels. I part them into 7 parts para matapos ko siya in a week. But things happen and hindi ko siya natapos right away. The book itself, the novel itself is kinda slow-paced, slow-burn kind of novel kaya hindi ko siya natapos in 7 days. Instead, I finished it for about 2 weeks. Dahil din siguro sinabay kong basahin ang librong ito with other books, short stories of Haruki Murakami, and basta marami akong binasang kasabay ito guys, kaya medyo natagalan ako doon. But congrats to me pa rin dahil natapos ko siya. So Secret Life of Bees basically is just a novel about Lily Owens, who was still a teenager, and who ran away from home together with kanyang yaya na si Rosalie in search for this Black Madonna na nahanap niya lang sa one of the pictures or one of the mementos that her late mother left sa bahay nila. Also, this novel circled around the themes of sisterhood, motherhood, beekeeping, homemaking, and it also discussed themes about racism, suffrage, racial discrimination, and whatnot. So that's it. There's no magic, there's no weird stuff, but it sure did have a lot of warm and wise words. An example would be this line that Zach Taylor, one of the characters in the novel, in chapter 11, he said, "We can't think of changing our skin. Change the world. That's how we gotta think." Yeah. So, this novel basically is kind of educational din kasi you get to learn a few things about domestic violence. Kasali na rin dyan yung independence of women, and kasali na rin dyan is yung struggle ng women against sexism, how they fought for suffrage, and how people cope with their differences. Kasi nga, a lot of characters sa novel na ito are men and women of color, and only one, yung main character lang, si Lily Owens, ang white. Alright? And this novel also teaches you how to deal with people with special needs. Kasi sa novel na to, may isang character, May. She has this ability to be hypersensitive, very empathetic and sympathetic towards everything na nangyayari around her. And so she has this kind of like episodes where she couldn't just, contain everything, and she has to like withdraw from the crowd and go somewhere else to process everything that she is feeling. So very interesting character din yan. And I would say na ang novel na to is more of character-driven than plot-driven. Kasi towards the end, most, if not all of the characters had this, ano ba tawag nito, growth in them. And so, hindi lang yung main character na si Lily ang nagkaroon ng parang growth or maturity dito. But, kasali na rin yung ibang characters na nasa novel. So if I'd pick a few words to describe the entire novel, I would say that it is very homey, very warm, and very sweet. So masasabi kong it's not as grand or as disturbing as other novels and stories out there. Kasi nako-compare ko siya sa mga ibang novels or stories that I have been reading lately. Kasi lately I've been reading like Murakami's, basta a lot of things na medyo focus nila yung plot, yung twists, and etc. So, if I'd give my verdict sa librong ito, I'd say that I'd give it a 3.5. So, it's good, but not that good. So, it's not the kind of novel that I would like read and reread over again. Kahit pa if it is for the purpose of like writing or like using it as a reference for my writing. Because if you know me, I'm the type of person na mahilig na mag-take down notes on what styles I like sa isang piece of writing. So, may mga phrases or may mga techniques akong makita, isusulat ko yan. And this novel didn't offer that much on the like writing, creative writing perspective for me. So, but on the other hand, it served its purpose naman for me, which is to like help me have this like warm, homey feeling before I go to sleep. And it also helps me like fall asleep easily to a fault. It's just the type of novel that makes you sometimes giddy, sometimes warm, and sometimes sleepy. Yeah. Share ko lang guys, there are a lot of scenes sa novel na ito na nagre-remind sa akin ng mga scenes sa Summer Solstice ni Joacquin or yung Tatarin. Kasi there were lots of times na the women in this novel, yung magkakapatid na si August Boatwright and two other women like May and other, let's say, believers, circle and dance around the Black Madonna, which reminds me of Summer Solstice, where these women were in like some kind of trance or engulfed in this certain like spirit or feeling na nakakreate out from their, let's say, to call spiritual practice, or out from their like traditions, okay, like faith-based traditions, I would say. And sa novel na to, they were like applying oils, honey on the Black Madonna. So that is like some sort of a ritual for them. So the question is, do I still recommend this novel for you guys to read? I would say, of course, I would recommend you guys to read this just because it is well written. It is also well researched, and it would just make you a lot wiser and raise your emotional quotient just a bit higher, alright? And if you're someone who'd like to read about, let's say, racism or like racial discrimination, about politics, about fighting one's right as a marginalized person, like the right to vote, and even just the general human right to feel safe and warm to one's own space or home. This novel is definitely for you. And special announcement, if you are someone who is just residing in Davao City or somewhere near sa Mindanao, let me know if you'd like to have this copy of the book Secret Life of Bees, because I'd be happy to share it with you. Just make sure to comment that you like it, or if you want to say mine, say mine. Or you can message me on my Instagram account, and I'd be very glad to give this novel to you. And if you're kind of shy to comment below, you could just DM me on my Instagram account. I could just post it here and tell me why you want to have this copy of the novel SueMonkKidd's Secret Life of Bees. So that's it for this video. This has been Riz, laging nagpapaalala na patuloy na magbasa, magsalat at magmula. God bless.